How much do you guys have under management right now?
So right now we manage about $2 million in assets, and then turnover is about over 8 figures.
This is JJ and Josh. They invest millions into the most expensive and exclusive sneakers in the world, treating them like stocks. And not only that, but they've also managed to convince highly educated professionals, lawyers, doctors, and bankers to invest their money into sneakers as part of a sneaker hedge fund.
The main industries we see interest in is really from hedge funds, lawyers, doctors.
And with the help of 15 developers, they've developed one of the most interesting tools for investing in the sneaker market.
So we use a lot of AI in our tools to actually integrate to tell us what shoes, and it will calculate our projections, where to sell it at, and all that.
So you're telling me there hasn't been a slowdown at all?
Not for us, no.
So today, I'm gonna find out how they built this multi-million-dollar sneaker empire and what really sets them apart from other sneaker resellers. What up, guys?
Hello.
How we doing?
Good.
How we doing?
How you doing?
Not bad. So I'm here with Josh and JJ, the owners and founders of Always Legit. Guys, I gotta ask, what is going on in this table? How much is this in sneakers?
About 200K worth of shoes right here on the table.
All right, so $200,000 worth of shoes. What are you doing with all of these?
These are all long-term investments that in the next upcoming years will most likely go to private clients or auction houses.
Okay, and so what's your business model? You just do
So
grails?
basically what we do is, no, we actually do everything. What we do is we work with high net worth individuals, family offices, hedge funds to invest capital into alternative assets, mainly right here at sneakers.
Got it. So people are giving you money and then you're putting their money into grails,
Yeah.
PEs, stuff like this.
Yep. And normal New Balances, Asics, whatever's we can move in and make a profit on.
Got it. Okay, so is it mostly these high-end stuff or is it a lot of the...
It's definitely a split. So we definitely do specialize in being able to source a lot of the higher end stuff. So anywhere from 40%, I would say, is about the high end stuff, which is longer term holds, which we may hold for 2 to 3 years and then go exit at a Sotheby's or Christie's or an auction house. And then the rest of it is other 60% is about quick flips.
Okay. Some of these shoes I haven't even seen before myself. Like what are these?
So these are Jordan 1 low Marquettes. There's 40 pairs of these in the world.
40 in the world?
Yeah, so they're only given out to the teams. So Marquette has one of the smallest teams, and it's only made per the player and coaching staff of the school's team.
So I don't know if you can tell me this, but how do you get your hands on something like this?
Can't tell you that quite, but a lot of sourcing, a lot of years in the industry, making connections to be able to get stuff like this.
Got it. And so something like this, how much are you buying it for and how much are you selling it for?
Buying it anywhere from 4 to 5,000. Automatically, I could probably sell it for 6 to 7. In a couple years, this shoe can go anywhere from maybe 9 to 12 grand plus, depending on the client. Just there's 40 pairs, and this is a size 11 in particular. Only the amount of players that were size 11, that's how many size 11s were made in this shoe.
So I gotta imagine most of them are like 14, 15, bigger sizes.
Yeah, a lot of them
So
are
11
13 and up. 11s are harder size to get your
Something
hands
that's
on.
wearable. What do you think is the craziest shoe? What's the most expensive shoe on this table?
Travis Scott Friends and Family, and then the OVO Friends and Family. A pair of these at Sotheby's sold for over $32,000. This shoe's anywhere from 35 to 40,000 depending on the size. And then stuff like this, they don't make any more of.
Yeah.
So, and more people wear them. So when these are given out to friends and family of Travis, a lot of the guys throw them on their feet automatically. That's less pairs on the market that are brand new to buy.
And so you mentioned Sotheby's. Is that where you're selling most of these pairs?
So Sotheby's, an interesting stat about them is 55% of their new users over the last year have been from their sneaker auctions. You might be asking yourself, why does a Sotheby's care about shoes? They sell millions of dollars in art every single week. It's a 30-year bet. We're right now going through one of the largest wealth transfers in history when millennials and Gen Zs want passion and identity investments. We don't want to invest in stocks. We want shoes, watches, cars, art, whatever it may be.
Speaking of watches, you into watches as well?
Yes. So future of the company is we'll actually be investing also in watches, high-end handbags such as Birkins and collectible art.
Cool. Okay, so you mentioned people are giving you money. You're putting it into shoes. Tell me more about that business model.
Yeah, so basically what we do is you go to our website, you basically open up an account with us the same way you would open up an account with a stockbroker, and you make a deposit. Off that deposit, we go out and we actually go acquire the assets. So we go out and we buy all the assets, we authenticate them, we store them, we insure them, and then when we hit the right appreciation that we're looking for the return for our investors, we go out and we sell the product.
Interesting. So I feel like there's two sides to the business, right? There's the buying and selling of sneakers, which maybe the audience is more familiar with. And then there's the raising capital and getting investments.
Yes.
Let's start with the buying and selling of sneakers. So how does this all work? You mentioned it's a split between the P's and the Grails,
Yeah.
and then just the everyday items. Walk me through the business model.
Yeah, so every single day we're buying inventory. So if that's from our connections in the industry that we've made over the last 7 to 15 years, or if that's also just being in group chats, seeing the list being sent out and acquiring them and reaching out to people. So we know a lot of the biggest collectors all around the world. So we're sourcing inventory globally as well, especially a lot of the higher end stuff.
And then you're, again, just kind of sitting on it and holding
Yeah,
it?
so this stuff we're holding, this is a great store of value. All this stuff is all very limited shoes that they're not making any more pairs of. If there's 30, 50, 300 pairs of some of these shoes, that's all that's ever going to be made in. There's no restock risk. It's never going to come out again.
It's a big problem with a lot of the GRs now.
Yeah.
They just keep coming over and over and over again. Like triple pinks, for example.
Definitely.
I still got a bunch of those, and they just keep restocking.
Yeah.
And so the other half, right, the ones that you are kind of turning quickly, what does that look like?
Yeah, so we'll buy anywhere from 300 to 500 pairs plus a week, just depending on the shoe. That's a mix of your Jordans, your Nikes, your SBs, Dunks, New Balances, Asics, whatever it may be, even Uggs, whatever it is. And we'll go out and we'll basically buy those. And then we work a lot with consignment stores. If that's Flight Club, Stadium Goods, or our friends that we've grown up with in the industry and they've opened up sneaker stores.
Are you guys buying from just like a couple sellers, or is it?
No.
Everyone.
Everyone. Yeah, we have a large network of definitely our bulk suppliers that we've worked with over many, many years that consistently bring us inventory to acquire, but anyone.
Okay. And how do you deal with the issue of fakes? I mean, especially with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
If they're selling for 10 grand.
Yeah, so we actually technically have a 3-step authentication process. So we authenticate everything as it comes in, we authenticate it as it's going out, and we also authenticate it with our party. So when we put it to consignment stores, to a Sotheby's, they're authenticating it again as well.
Got it. And how do you actually authenticate it? Like, walk me through. Like, let's say this pair comes in the building.
Yeah, so what's good about most of these shoes, we'll have multiples of them.
Okay.
And we know the source, so a lot of them we know exactly where they came from, and that's our model to authenticate off of. And also, there's a lot of tells. The fakes never come exactly right. If you look at the stitching, the glue smell, you could actually smell them. So depending on the material of different shoes, they have a different smell to them.
Got it. Got it. So for something like this, what would a fake pair have that these don't?
So the fake pair never gets the blue right on this. So this is the Trophy Room Jordan 5, the red pair. This was the friends and family pair. So Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son, who opened up Trophy Room, this was for the opening of the store. So there was only 223 pairs of these made, and it was just given out to his friends and family.
That's nuts.
And then you can see the back for it. So this is technically the ground of the court. So if you go in the Trophy Room store, there's kind of like a vibe of, it's very like MJ nostalgic. So you'll see like nets or the actual floorboards he used to play it on.
Got it. Okay. And what's like the average return on some of the, going back to the cheaper stuff, you're selling in consignment. What's the
So
average
for our
one?
investors, we target 20+% net of fees. Again, any returns that we have made are not future returns or expected returns, just we target 20+% net of fees for our investors.
Got it. And that's annually?
Yeah, annually.
Okay.
On an annual basis.
How often are you turning over the inventory?
So this stuff will hold anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 years even, depending on it. Again, great store of value, and this stuff really appreciates as people wear them. There's less DS pairs on the market, it just goes up in price.
Do people actually wear these?
Yeah, I have some of these that I wear. None of these are worn. All of these on the table are all brand new. But yeah, a lot more people than you think would wear these.
You'll put on a $30,000 shoe on your feet and you'll wear it?
Yeah.
So walk me through the day-to-day.
So we definitely, a lot of it's intaking shoes and buying shoes. That's probably the shortest part of the day, to be honest. The big part of the day is educating the market and investors that maybe Gen Z, millennials, that sneakers are an asset class. Sneakers are investable, and you're able to go out and buy shoes. And a lot of people who try reselling, they might give up pretty quickly just because they don't know what to buy. And it's even if they know what to buy, they don't know what to pay and where to sell it at. So we do all that for you.
How do you know what's a good buy and what's not?
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of technology that we built around it as well, that we're able to rate a restock risk on a shoe. So before I buy a shoe, I know what consignment store, where it's gonna go, how long it should take to sell, and my return on that shoe.
All right, listen, I talk to a lot of sneaker resellers every day. Everyone's struggling right now. How are you guys so confident that you guys can still make money? And not only that, you feel confident enough that you'll take other people's money and put it into shoes.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people might think that's crazy. The way that we do that, again, is with the tools that we built. we know where to buy stuff. So for us, it doesn't matter if a shoe retails for $180. We'll go buy it at $80 and sell it for $100, $120. There's your margin right there. So we're able to make money in the down markets, as people are saying it right now. If sneakers are down right now, which again, they hit a little bit low this year, but they're really creeping back up. It's just the retail that falls dry. And that's really the problem, where people are saying they can't make money in shoes right now. So it's not us, again, we don't go for retail. We go out and we acquire shoes for, if it's $80, $100, if retail's $180, we'll sell it for $120, $150, whatever it may be. And there's our margin right there. And we're able to do that with our tools, our network, and a lot of AI. So we use a lot of AI in our tools to actually integrate, to tell us what shoes, and it will calculate our projections, where to sell it at, and all that.
So you're telling me there hasn't been a slowdown at all?
Not for us, no. We're able to make money in up markets and down markets.
Fascinating. What's the risk though? Because I'm sure you can't be 100%. If it was 100%.
No, so sneakers we see over the last few years have about a 10% drawdown risk. When you look at other stuff, stocks, cryptos, whatever it may be, other companies obviously have a much larger, like sneakers don't go to zero. That's the good thing about tangible assets. You're able to pick it up, wear it, put it on your shelf, talk to your friends about it, whatever it may be. And people will still want to buy sneakers even when they don't have money for rent or anything else, just because of that culture and that identity that they want, that the shoes bring for them.
So what is the biggest loss you guys have taken?
I would say one of the investments we were wrong on was definitely the Jordan 1 Ama Menieres. So we bought about, I want to say 40 pairs of those, and I would say that was probably the biggest loss.
What were you paying, like 320-ish, 340?
We were paying like 380, and we sold them all for about 350.
Okay, so
because
not that
we
bad.
also, again, that's what our tech tells us. The AI basically said this shoe's dropping in price. So we looked at the risk on it and we said, let's get rid of them all. And we just sold them all.
Interesting. It's like a stop loss for stocks you guys have for sneakers.
Yeah.
So, okay, my next question is, if you guys are so confident that you'll be able to make money, why don't you just buy the shoes yourself? Why are you doing it with other people's money?
Yeah, so it's many reasons. First of all, it's really proving that sneakers are an asset class, showing basically the world that they're able to invest in this asset class and into alternative investments, and this is the future. And again, it caps out at some point with your own capital. You're only able to buy, hold, sell so much at a certain time. Money's not unlimited. So it's really good to be able to have access to capital, to be able to buy buying opportunities. When you're offered large quantities or large amount of pairs, you know there's profit in. Instead of scrambling to go sell however 500, 10,000 pairs, whatever it may be, to get the money to buy that deal, you're able to make a phone call or you constantly have capital coming in. You're able to go buy those deals.
Pretend I'm a potential investor. You see me at a sneaker event. I'm walking around with my son, my daughter, and she's really into shoes. What's the conversation look like? So
the first thing we usually say is really the stop and shock. Did you know this market's $10 billion? The secondary sneaker market today is $10 billion, projected to be $30 billion. And this has been, again, sneakers were on the cover of Bloomberg. It's getting some institutional interest. Cowen and Company, Piper Sandler, all these big firms have written articles on why sneakers are investable and why they're an asset class. So what we really see going on at the event is we say that. Sometimes they take a minute and they process that. They look around. Average event probably has 300 tables, let's say. 10 to 15 million plus in product. And people don't realize that, because when you add it up real quick in your head, you're just looking around, you're like, oh, here's a shoe. My kid says this shoe's cool. He wants it. It's $500. Why is it $500?
Yeah.
Go pick something cheaper. And then an uglier shoe that maybe they think is cheaper might be $5,000, and they just don't know. So it's a lot about like, this can really make me money, and it's really walking them through as in like, yeah, this is our process. This is how we resell stuff. We use the tools to know exactly what to buy and where to sell it. And then it's really them leaning on us, seeing it as a passive way, the same way they would make any other investment, get a return, and also get their kids some education on how to be in business and also in the industry of sneakers. So we have a lot of dad, son, mother, daughter, granddaughter, grandson portfolios that we also get on calls with just the kids, and we go through what we're buying, and they'll go through what they've bought locally, sold to their friends at school, and they'll do it on their own as well.
Okay, and where are you finding me? Where are you finding these?
So we do a lot of networking at events, if that's sneaker events as well, which I know you've seen us at. Also a lot of different events. We go to a lot of family office and financial events. If it's a yacht show, private aviation events, basically anyone that is interested in alternative assets or investments to diversify their capital.
Got it. Okay. And so is it mostly like all one type of person who's investing into it? Or?
I would say it's a mix. Also from the sneaker events, it's a lot of kids that are interested in shoes that their dads might be lawyers, doctors, they might manage their own hedge fund, and they think it's a cool way to make money on their money and also teach their sons. So like with our platform, you're able to actually see your account, see everything we're buying and selling for you, all the fees, and you're able to download a ledger of your account. So you can do a profit loss, you can educate your kid and go through it with the process as well. But I would say mainly it's really not one particular person, but the main industries we see interest in is really from hedge funds, lawyers, doctors, and then I would say also athletes is a very big one for us, just due to the fact that they go out, they buy the shoes, they've been offered deals, their friends have Nike contracts, Adidas contracts, whatever it may be, and they're able to go out and say, oh, I got sent a shoe for free, I wore it once. Like, forget about what my name is, just selling the shoe, I'm able to make money on it. So that's a click in their head right away.
And if I may ask, how much do you guys have under management right now?
Yeah, so right now we manage about $2 million in assets, and then turnover is about over 8 figures a year off that.
How big is the team? Is it just you or?
No, so it's me and then our SPV of operations, Josh, will come on camera a little bit later. And then we have our internal team is actually smaller than we have a much bigger development team.
Really?
So we have about 15 to 20 developers depending on the month and what projects we have going on. The core development team's about 15 people. And we basically build all the tools and data to help us know what to buy and where to sell it.
Got it. So that tool you're talking about where it's before you even buy a shoe, you know exactly where it's going and how much it's going to take and all that good stuff. That's built from your own development team.
Yeah, so all built custom from scratch.
Got it. Okay. And do you have a tech background or?
No, not a tech background, just reselling actually.
Okay, so we meet at the event, right? And you tell me about the business. What's the next step? Why are you 25K or what?
No, so usually what happens is we'll have a follow-up call. We'll send some reports, which we could include for you to read about why sneakers are an asset class and just a basic background on the actual market and how it's been growing over the last couple of years. So we'll get on a call, we'll go through a demo portfolio and basically show you some of the stuff of how it works. And usually after that, it's pretty one and done, to be honest. But again, some people take some time to process and think about their other investments and if this is something they're interested in. And again, sometimes it takes some time. We have people call us 8 months later and said, I just saw Bloomberg put out this article about shoes. Like, I remember what you told me about it. I found your business card. I want to test it. So then we'll go in, Y or ACH, whatever it may be. They'll fund their account, and then we'll go out and we'll acquire the inventory. And what's really important is we don't let money sit in the account. We always have inventory coming in and out where we fill it. So it's not just cash sitting in an account that's making no money on it. We're always getting product in and out and selling through it.
What's the biggest challenge in the business, you think?
Definitely educating people on sneakers are an asset class. Because a lot of people look at the market and they just don't see it even though it is there. So it's really explaining to them how sneakers have grown over the last couple of years and why sneakers are important.
Now, as far as the tech, what's next with that? It feels like at some point you're just like a robot.
Yeah, so next to that is basically, we want to get to the point where we could send someone with basic knowledge of shoes to an event and then be able to basically take a shoe, pick it up and say, I'm gonna pay this for this shoe, I'm gonna go put it at this place or sell it to this person, get this amount of money for it, and this is my return.
And so at that point, like it's over, right? What left is it to do?
No, but it scales from there definitely. So the good part about that is it allows basically people to get into the market. So this market's honestly one of the most inefficient markets just out of any market, just to get into and learn what to do, what to buy, and where to sell it.
So you guys got $2 million right now under management. How big do you think the company can grow?
So for sneakers about 100, 120 million, you really start trading with yourself. What I mean by that is you own such a large supply of the market at that point that when you want to go out and buy more inventory, it's just the new inventory that comes out. But we see scaling into other assets, again, if that's watches, Birkins, and instead of us messing with $200 shoes, then your lowest entry Rolex could be $10,000, $15,000. Birkins, $15,000 to $20,000. So that adds up.
And it'll be the same type of people giving you money, people who are just looking for alternative investments.
Yeah, anything to diversify your investments. And a lot, again, of the younger generation, we're gonna see the largest wealth transfer in history right now, where me and you, we don't want to invest in the stock market. We want something that's passion, culture, and identity investments. That's what we're looking for. And that's again why Sotheby's, Christie's, all these big auction houses are focusing on it. It's a 30-year bet that as we grow in age, we'll want to buy more expensive and other assets, if that's from shoes to watches to Birkins to art to collectibles. And we really see sneakers as the gateway to that.
So sneakers are like the stepping stone into the watches, into the bags.
Yeah, so sneakers we see as the gateway to luxury.
So why do you think other resellers are hurting so much while you guys seem to be doing totally fine?
So we know when to take a loss also. So we're totally okay using our tech and running through. So we're constantly reallocating our portfolios and seeing where the market is and where those certain shoes are. So triple pinks, when they drop in price, we know automatically, we go, let's sell them, take a 5-10% loss on it, whatever it may be, go reinvest that capital.
So you think the biggest thing that people are doing wrong is that they're just sitting on stuff for too long?
They're sitting on stuff and they're not okay taking the loss. And then they're spending, especially at the events. I see a lot of people spend all the money on travel, if that's cars, flights, tolls, whatever it may be, gas. You buy your table and then you spend your whole entire day there. You might not sell a single shoe. I'll offer someone 10, 20 bucks less than they paid for that, than what they want. So let's say they want 350. I say, I'll give you 330, 340 even. And they just say I'm firm. By the amount of time, and some of these people live in other states, so I know they're shipping stuff back. You're basically adding to your cost of that shoe.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get even less money. So technically, by the time you sell it, unless you hold it forever and eventually it goes up, you're losing even more money on that shoe than cutting that loss and say, let me lose $10 on it and get rid of it.
It's interesting. I feel like sneakers is maybe because it's just such a young market.
Yeah, a lot of people said I paid too high, which is okay also. And the big problem with retail, it's a lot of the kids using their mom's credit card. And it's, hey, I just need whatever I can get for it to pay that credit card back. Because it's also like, I want to buy the next drop. There's always something new coming out and they always want to buy whatever the new thing.
Pretty complex business.
Yeah, so I started I've always been interested in being an entrepreneur and building, running, selling companies. So when I was about 11 years old, fidget spinners really popped off. So that was like my first step into business. I bought a fidget spinner, some kid bought it from lunch for me for more. I was like, can I make these? So I basically started making them. I negotiated on WhatsApp with factories in China to get bearings in bulk. And I basically made over $3,000 selling fidget spinners at 11 years old. From there, basically, by the time I was 13 years old, I played basketball growing up. So basketball shoes, whatever it may have been. And I was at the point where I really wanted shoes. So as a kid, I got $100 a year to go to Marshall's and buy one pair of shoes. And I got one pair of shoes for basketball season. My parents didn't want to spend money on shoes, which makes sense. My foot grew out of it, whatever it may be. Mid-8th grade, I was going into high school next year. And everyone's wearing cooler and cooler shoes every year. So if that was Yeezys, Jordans, whatever it may have been. And I wanted a pair. So there was the Gatorade release coming out of the Jordan 1s. And I remember I used all the money I had and I bought like 13 or 14 pairs of them. That shoe ended up tanking. Luckily, I was able to return them. I do still have a set to this day of all of them that I bought for retail back then. And it's kind of just in my room just as like a memory of like my first reselling. And I returned them. And then I ended up going to my first event. And then I went and I bought a sneaker from one table. I went to the next table and I sold it for 20 bucks more. And by the end of the day, I showed up with, let's say 300 bucks. I walked out with $700 in cash and 4 pairs of shoes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's clean.
Yeah, and then I just kept going from there, circling, and then bringing in later when we talk about Josh and how we actually met is one of the events I ended up actually going to his table and I bought his whole table.
So I'm Josh, SVP of Operations at Always Legit. So I met JJ, like I said, at sneaker event. I was, I think, 18 or 19, and JJ's 30, and I'm like, how is like little kid? For the little kid, like buying, $5,000 of sneakers I made. And I was talking to his dad too, so we're kind of there chatting. And sure enough, like, JJ's being 13. I'm like, this kid understands the market kind of better than I do, honestly. And then has a better understanding of like where to sell a sneaker. Like early on, I had no trouble buying sneakers, but where to sell a sneaker was a little bit more difficult. JJ knew that, and then from there on, JJ and I were kind of like.
So you guys went from just buying and selling from each other, and then one day you just woke up and were like, let's start a sneaker hedge fund, or what?
Yeah.
I guess so, like, funny enough, it's like, we started buying some sneakers together, started dropping JJ events, so like, I would be his like a little chauffeur of your team. Still 19, 13, 20, 15. I'm like, nearly having him skip school to buy sneakers with like, those stuff. But that's really how it started. And then we're like, how do we really like scale this? Like, how do we turn this into a proper business? I think a lot of sneaker resellers, they have a business. Is that business like worth anything? If they weren't there, like, no, is really the answer. And then JJ were really kind of like, how do we make a business where like we can leave it one day and it's still worth something? And the way to do that is to obviously have a team around. I think it's the real lesson we learned.
So that's what the tech is, right? How can we get it to where we're not actually needed for it? We can just kind of click a button and anyone can do it.
Exactly. Yeah. The tech now is really to the point where we've been building the past like 7 years now, where we want to give someone very basic sneaker knowledge. Like, hey, here's like my phone, here's the app. Go out and buy sneakers with. Like, here's 20K, 50K, 100K cash, and send you in 6 hours, and you're gonna have 250 sneakers, and like ready to go list them all for sale, and you divide them up into what stores are gonna sell them at. And that's the goal.
So both of you guys have been doing this for a long time, right? What's one piece of advice you'd give to the younger generation, the new generation of sneaker resellers?
I'd say the most important part is really being aware of your capital. If you're holding on to too many sneakers and that doesn't allow you to buy more sneakers, I think it's a huge issue. I think really just also tracking your profits and losses would help a lot of sneakerheads. But it really just comes down to just managing your capital correctly and being in and out of sneakers as fast as you can. And having a goal in mind right away, I think is the best bet. I think a lot of sneakerheads buy sneakers and they don't worry about the exit. I'm worried as the sneaker and how much you're going to sell it for, or at least your projection, which helps a lot of sneakerheads out.
I would say it's definitely about not burning bridges. A lot of people in this industry don't value connections, and that's really what we've built the business off of. And a lot of the guys that we know have built their businesses off of over the last few years. And it's really just knowing that just in life, you don't want to burn a bridge with anyone, because you don't know who you're going to meet up with, who you might work with, who might be your boss, who's a company that you could sell to if you own a company, and who's running that company at that time. So it's really building those relationships. And it's okay that if deals don't happen or something happens, as long as you keep your word and you take care of it.
And how about everyone who hates sneaker resellers? What do you guys say to them?
I just think you hate sneaker resellers. I'm kind of indifferent about it. Like, I think this is our business. If you hate sneakerheads and you hate resellers, then you also hate every business there is in the entire world. Like, every business is making money, and we're just another business that's trying to make money.
I would agree with that. It's really just, again, there's nothing you could do to convince someone if they hate it so much to like it. So it's okay that people hate it. People hate a lot of different industries for a lot of their own personal reasons. Again, there is a lot of shoes that a lot of people get for retail that a lot of people don't get for retail, and that's kind of just the luck of the draw in general with shoes.
And just add to that too, it's like whether you can afford, $50 sneakers or $50,000 sneakers, you're just as cool. Doesn't make you that much cooler. Like, be confident in who you are. You're your own person. Having $50,000 sneakers doesn't make you cool. Be a cool person. Being a genuine person is way cooler than having, a collection worth $2 million.
I love it. That was inspirational. Wow, good stuff.